Yesterday, the Supreme Court gave judgment which will affect the 2027 elections because Nigeria will be experiencing a change in leadership in 2027. However, the question in the mind of most Nigerians is whether there will be no standing, strong and valid opposition in the 2027 election which will lead to no change at all in leadership. So before going into the judgment of the Supreme Court, here's a background story. The ADC, which is the African Democratic Congress, which stands as a strong and most viable political party that can challenge the All Progressive Congress, that is the ruling political party, is having a leadership crisis. On the one side, there's the David Mark-led group, which identifies and parades itself as the leadership of the ADC. On the other side, there's the Nafi Bala-led group, which identifies and parades itself also as the leadership of the political party and also disputing the leadership of the David Mark-led group. These both groups are in court, from the Federal High Court to the Court of Appeal, even up to the Supreme Court. But of interesting note is the judgment of the Court of Appeal, which said that parties should restore status quo ante bellum, which is a Latin law maxim, which means that both parties should go back to the original position they were before the whole hostility or before the whole dispute arises. Now, INEC, which is the independent umpire that is supposed to govern and safeguard everything about the election, gave an interpretation to that judgment of the Court of Appeal. According to INEC said that it simply means that none of the political parties should be recognized as the leadership of that political party pending what the Federal High Court will say or who the Federal High Court will give leadership of the political party. So because of this, both parties are now at the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court gave judgment which I will categorize into three parts. The first is that the status quo ante bellum order which the Court of Appeal gave was quite unnecessary. It was not supposed to have given that order because of none of the parties had asked for it, and since it had already nullified or dismissed the appeal led by the David Mark-led group, so such order was quite unnecessary. Now, ordinarily, courts have the power to give preservatory order. Now, a preservatory order is an order given by the courts to preserve whatsoever judgment the court will give with regard to a particular dispute in point. So take for instance now, there's a house and the house is in dispute and the court is to give judgment with regards to that house. The court can give a preservatory order to say none of the parties should enter that house until it has given judgment with regards to that house. This is exactly what the Court of Appeal did, and the Supreme Court said it was quite unnecessary. Why? Because the issue of that house was not in dispute. What was brought to the court was quite different from what the court gave a preservatory order. The Supreme Court reasoned that a status quo ante bellum order is an order that is given to preserve something, and that's why something has been concluded, that is, the dispute has been concluded conclusively, then there is no need for a status quo ante bellum. Simply put, it means that the Court of Appeal, after it had dismissed the appeal, was not supposed to give any preservatory order again. Why? Because the appeal has been concluded, the appeal has been dismissed, and therefore, what is the need of a status quo ante bellum? The third part, which is the most striking part of this video, is that the Supreme Court said all parties should go back to the Federal High Court and let the Federal High Court give the substantive judgment to determine who exactly is the leadership of the ADC. Is it the David Mark-led group or the Nafi Bala-led group?